everyone. Welcome back to another amazing episode of 52 Authors, 52 Weeks. Today, I have virtually visited the New York area because I am here with author Tiffany Robinson, whose book is, listen, guys, Confessions of a Queen. I've been meeting a lot of queens lately. Confessions of a Queen, a journal of self reflection and spiritual growth. And we need this more than ever today, than like never before, because I think many of us miss the self part of our lives. We're so busy, worrying about everybody else, and we lose out on all the wonderful things that we could be
Yes.
doing in the world. So, welcome to the show, Tiffany.
Oh my goodness. Thank you so much for having me. I am going to call you Dr. Campbell, Dr. Lisa. Come on.
Okay, okay.
I'm going to put some respect on your name. But thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited to hang out today.
Thank you.
Yes.
And I want to have you introduce yourself, but before I do, I have to give you a confession because the name of
Okay.
your book is Confessions.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
I started my doctoral program in 2004. 2008, I had a little hiccup because my dissertation chair like disappeared.
Mm,
And so I finished, my degree was conferred March of 2013.
mm.
And for a long time, I wasn't owning the doctor part. Yes, and it was my husband that was like, G, that's what he said to me, G.
Mhm. Mhm.
You need to own that title because we all watched the tears, the blood, the sweat that you put into it, and you need to own it. And one day I was like, I think I will, and haven't looked
Yes.
back. But for a long time, I wasn't owning it.
Wow. That's a whole conversation in and of itself, but I am glad that you're owning it, and I intend to own it with you and say thank you for having me, Dr. Campbell. I will put some respect on your credentials, okay?
Thank you. So, Tiffany, before we get into confessions, I really want our listening, viewing audience to learn all about you. Not everyone is working in our world in
Yes.
healthcare. And so I want them to learn more about you because you never know who's down the street from you, wants to bring you in to motivate their workforce in healthcare or outside of healthcare.
Absolutely, absolutely. And thank you so much for giving me the opportunity to introduce myself. So, I have worked in the healthcare space going on, I'm going to be entering my 27th year next month. I started straight out of high school, actually had finished high school, and I do a workshop once a month. Where I talk to individuals who are looking to enter into the field. And I really talk about my roundabout journey into healthcare because it really wasn't traditional. I found myself 16. I was finished with high school, but I found myself pregnant and had to figure out how I was going to be able to support myself and my child. And back then, we had newspapers in New York and other states, and medical billing was a big thing. It was talking about being able to work from home and be a work from home mom. And I'm like, well, this will be great. I'm having my first child. If I can get to work from home, that would be great. So I did the program. Obviously, it didn't work out as easily as I thought it would in terms of being able to start your own business and work from home. They will tell you what they need to tell you to get your coins. But I was very persistent. It was not easy for me to break into the industry, but I was finally able to break into the industry. And the rest was history. I started out as a clerk, worked my way into being a supervisor, then a manager. I was a full-time entrepreneur for about a decade. And then about 2.5 years ago, I took on an exciting opportunity to become a director of revenue cycle management. Obviously, I have gone back to school several times since then, and I'm also going back to school in the fall. So I'm very big on continuous learning, but have been in this space and worked in various specialties and iterations. And I love coaching and mentoring in addition to being a director of RCM, recently promoted to VP of RCM. whoop. But a big part of my journey has been my spirituality and just being self reflective and constantly wanting to grow and be a better version of myself, not chasing perfection, but being a better version of myself. And this has been a project that was supposed to be birthed into the universe for about 4 years. 4 years. And I put it off, and I would constantly, it would always come back to me. God would always bring it back to me like, you need to put this project out here. Yes, you're successful, but you need to be able to share that with other people. And finally, I said, you know what? I'm going to buckle down and do it. I had a very traumatic experience last year where we lost someone that we loved very abruptly to cancer. And it just shifted my entire perspective and urgency about being able to leave something that will help people, help us. Some of the things that are in confessions, if someone would have told me this when I was 16, 17, 22, it would have saved me so much unnecessary stress. So this is really a passion project that it's not so much healthcare driven, but it is health driven because it's taking care of ourselves. Because if we don't take care of ourselves, we can't show up in other spaces and be effective.
Oh my gosh. Listen, what you just said, we could spend hours talking about being number one, being a teen mom, right? There's this perception that your life is over, right? You're going to be on
Mhm.
welfare for the rest of your life.
Mhm.
The notorious, you're going to make $80,000 a year and you're going to work from home and you're going to eat
Mhm.
bonbons. Do they still make bonbons? You're going to eat bonbons and just be living it up, right?
Mhm.
Um,
Mhm.
when you mentioned the newspaper ads, I was like, wait a minute. I think I still have a clipping. I gotta find it. Because you know how they used to have like you just get this software and
Yes.
like you could
The
just
software was Medisoft, by the way. I went the
yes.
full 100 to get this done and wasted my money, but, that's a whole nother conversation. I don't wanna digress.
Well, you know what? Let me tell you something funny. I had a client about 10 years ago. It's a hospital who
Mhm.
had like clinics. They were using Medisoft. And I was just like, why are we still using Medisoft? I didn't even know Medisoft was still in business. Side note, I do have my certificate of training for for
Ooh, they
Medisoft.
gonna yank it away from you after you.
But even before Medisoft, I had this medical manager product that
Medical
we
Manager
use.
was the jam, though. Medical Manager was like, if you didn't have Medical Manager experience in the 90s, you weren't in anything. You knew
Absolutely.
nothing.
So I'm glad you said the word experience because one of
Mhm.
the things that I believe that many of us have been conditioned to forget is experience. And I believe in no experience left behind. All the things that you went through are contributing to who we see standing in front of us today. And you clearly, right, are no longer 16, no longer, trying to figure out this medical coding and billing career. You have evolved and grown, but all of those things are a part of the amazing woman that I see standing in front of me today or sitting in front of me today.
Oh, thank you so much for that. Yes. And it all has played a pivotal role. The good, the bad, even understanding in those early days, look, no one's going to give you their billing to work from home if you don't have experience and you don't have anyone to vouch for you. So even that lesson, learning that I had to pay my dues in order to even get to the point of having my own business. I can always look back at different moments throughout my career where something was frustrating or something didn't make sense or something made me upset. And now that I have grown in my career, realizing that it was necessary for me to go through that to get this information out of it, to learn this lesson from it so that I can go to the next level. And I think a lot of younger people, they miss out on that because they're in it. You know, they're going through it. Why do I have to do this? Why? Sometimes you just got to pay your dues. You just got to get it. You just got to go through life lessons so that you can become better equipped as you grow professionally, emotionally. You know, it's all a part of the process. So am really big on even mistakes, things that don't go the way that I want or thought it would go. I'm very big on taking the lessons from it and not looking back and just feeling like I just wasted my time, you know?
Oh, I love it. And I don't actually call them mistakes. I call them lessons that I've learned because if you don't have the mistake, how will you ever grow? Right?
Yeah.
You think about Einstein and all the trials and tribulations he went through to give us a light
Mhm.
bulb, right?
Okay.
So, right, and he didn't get it right the first time.
Mhm. Mhm.
So I think we take those lessons for granted and we want everything to be perfect. But
Yes.
I have learned that I appreciate the progress over the perfection because truth be told, nobody is perfect.
This is true. This is true. And it also brings back an important quote that I put in the journal where I said, you know, the destination is important, but what's more important is the journey to get there. Oftentimes we're so focused on the destination that we don't see the value in the journey, and the journey is like the most important part. That's where you're going to get all of the life lessons, the hacks, all that. We're just focused on the end goal, you know. But you live and you learn. And if you live long enough, because some of the things that come out of my mouth like 20 years ago, I'm like, you know, I find myself sometimes saying things that my grandmother, may she rest in peace, would tell me all the time. And I'm like, girl, I know you're not out here quoting granny. You are out here quoting granny when you were rolling your eyes at her. So you live and you learn. You live and you
Listen,
learn.
we didn't listen then, but what we don't realize, everything that they were telling us was planting the seeds for the future version of ourselves. And it's my desire that I've planted so many seeds in my children's lives that they will keep it going because I think that that's how we grow. Now they
Yes.
may not listen, right? We didn't listen. We did what we wanted to do,
Mhm.
but we still on the other side of it to tell others about,
They were right. Most
our
of the time they
journey.
were right.
Yes. Remember how your grandparents used to say, "Put a hat on," right? You don't put a hat on, you're gonna get pneumonia. That part is true. If you don't cover your body up, you can get
Mhm.
sick.
It's true. It's true. It's true. But you know, you live and you learn, and that's the beautiful thing. And you know, my hope is that there will be individuals at any age, at any age. They can be younger than me, we could be the same age, they can be older, but they would take some of the nuggets, and there's a lot of nuggets in here, and they would be able to apply it to different life scenarios, different, you know, tribulations they may be facing, circumstances they may be facing, because Confessions has something in here for everyone. And that's what makes this such a beautiful project.
I love it. I love it. And I like that you point out the spiritual aspect of your life. I know everyone doesn't go on that spiritual journey, or so they don't think
Mhm.
they do. I believe
Right.
we all, in some shape, form, or fashion, go on a spiritual journey. But I love how in the dedication you talk about trust the path that God has placed you on and then stick close to his voice. I think a lot of times he wants to speak to us, but we don't slow down enough to hear him.
Yes.
And I remember when I made a decision that I wasn't going to continue to juggle entrepreneurship and holding down a full-time job.
Mhm.
And I
Mhm.
was like pulling and tugging on, making a
Mhm.
decision. And I
Mhm.
remember one night I was awake at 3 in the morning and God spoke to me and said, "Take the first step and I'll carry you the rest of the way."
Wow.
But it wasn't until I paused and allowed myself to hear from him. He probably was trying to speak to me all the time, but I was
Mhm.
going, doing,
Yes.
that I couldn't really hear, right? I
Yeah.
couldn't really receive the message.
Yeah.
but I
Yeah.
got it.
Yes. Hello. Yes, my life. You know, this is, and I want to make sure that I say this in a really delicate way because I know that there are a lot of people that belong to church bodies, things of that nature. For me, the biggest problem was listening to so many other people try to tell me what I should be doing and not trusting my relationship with God enough to not have to rely on what other people said. And that even goes with my career. And but the difference is, I have to say, is when it came to my career, I had like this unbelievable belief system that there was nothing you were going to say to me. There were times that I said to my friends, I need to do this, this, and this. In order for me to get this, I need to do this. And they would look at me and laugh, like, that's not going to happen. And I would just look at them like, you watch, it's going to happen. And eventually it would happen. I had this crazy determination professionally, but for some reason, when it came to things outside of work, I hesitated a lot. Even with this project, there was a lot of hesitation. There was a lot of people who are spiritual, telling me or suggesting certain paths that I should be taking. And then me wondering, well, should I be taking that path? Should I be doing this? Because this for me is like ministry. Like what I do when I speak and mentor individuals in healthcare, that's ministry for me. But the average person in a church body would not look at what I do as ministry. So I felt conflicted for a long time, like, well, I don't have enough time to do this because I'm doing this, this, and this. And if I do this, is this really ministry? And then finally, when I went through this life event with one of my close friends and her cancer journey with her mom, I began to view time, life, priorities completely different. And I'm like, you know what? I'm going to trust the relationship that I have with God. I'm going to trust that if God says that if this is my ministry, I don't care. I don't care if someone else who might be doing something else that they feel is ministry talk down about it or feel like, well, that's not ministry. You're still in corporate America. That's your opinion. This for me, when I connect with people, when I help people, find their relationship with God and pray and say, I hadn't prayed in a while, but after reading your journal, I started praying and talking to God one on one. That's all I need. That's the only validation I need to let me know that I'm on the right track and living in my purpose.
Oh my gosh, I love it. One of the things that stuck out that you said was how oftentimes, you didn't say this exactly, but I'm just summarizing. Oftentimes, we allow others' limiting beliefs to control how we operate.
Mhm.
And when you take a step back and realize they ain't talking about me, they really talking about them, right?
Yes.
You got to read between the lines, but
Yes.
oftentimes we're listening to them. I remember someone said to me, so are you gonna, this was a man too, are
Mhm.
you gonna be that's in our industry, let me just say this,
Mm.
love him dearly,
Mhm.
but he said, are you gonna be a consultant or a speaker? Which one are you trying to be? uh and for a while I was conflicted.
Mhm.
I realized, how come I can't be both? And if you look at the Brene Browns of the world, right? These
Mhm.
folks are speakers, they're authors, they're
Mhm.
consulting. So others will put their beliefs on you. And oftentimes, I don't know about you, it will come full circle where they will say, I know you do such and such in addition to such and such.
Mhm.
Can you give me some pointers, tips, etc.?
Mhm.
And very gracefully, I say, absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's projection. In the therapy world, because my husband's a therapist, that's
Uh-oh.
classic projection. They're projecting their thoughts, their insecurities, their doubts into something that you want to do, and a lot of times we don't even see it for what it is. And I thought it was weird, like when I really sat back and kind of looked at because I'm very big on self assessment. I'm like, well, why are you so bold in this area? But you're like afraid to walk into your potential just because it doesn't look like what other people in ministry are doing. Your career path doesn't look like the average person's career path. So why are you bothered by this? And when I really had that honest conversation with myself, and it just validated. It validated, look, it's okay for us to go full throttle. It's okay if it doesn't look like what people think it's supposed to look like. The people that you're supposed to bless with this, they're going to be blessed, and the ones who feel it's not for them, it's not for them, and that's fine.
Oh
God
my
bless
gosh.
you. Go with
I
God.
I remember my coach saying that you have to get to a point where you attract and repel, right?
I
Attract
like
those
that.
that are supposed to, you're supposed to serve, and repel those that are not. And I think a lot of times um, we say, oh, this person signed up on my website, they want me to coach them, but I'm not really good for them.
Mm.
And they definitely won't be good for my time and my
Mhm.
emotional real estate. And so instead of looking at it from a impact perspective, we look at it from a financial perspective, and
Yes.
oftentimes it gets us in trouble.
Oh, yes, and I've been guilty of that. I've been guilty of doing projects where I just knew I was not going to enjoy the project. I just knew that this person or this organization was going to be extremely difficult and just not good for my just sanity. And I did it anyway because the check was on point and I was miserable. I was miserable.
You pay for it instead of
I
getting
did.
paid.
Oh, I did. I absolutely did. So I have a very big policy now where if I don't feel it's aligned, I will politely bow out. No is a complete sentence. I've paid my dues and I don't need to be raising my blood pressure working with someone that I just don't feel it's a good fit. Healthcare is stressful enough. Okay. I'm good on that.
Absolutely. Absolutely. You know what? I'm telling you, no experience left behind.
Yes. Yes.
Because when you even start to think about going down that path, you'll be like, "Oh, wait a minute. Remember when? No, let
Mm,
me not do that.
don't
Let me
do
not
it.
do that." Yeah.
Don't do it. Don't do it.
So, we have about 8 minutes left. Um there's a couple of things that I really want to do
Hmm.
because the ages of the listeners and viewers for this show varies, right?
Hmm.
From
Hmm.
young to old,
Hmm.
um, different nationalities,
Hmm.
different parts of the US and abroad.
Yeah.
The first thing I would love for you to share, what would you tell the younger version of yourself?
Whew, that's a good one. So the younger version of myself was I was just trying to survive. I did not come from a very stable family life, and I'll leave it at that. But and I figured out at a very early age, girl, you're gonna have to take care of yourself because your parents are just not, they've checked out. God bless them.
Mm.
So a lot of it was surviving. And growing up in New York, born and raised in Brooklyn, you have to be tough. New York City is not a town for punks.
Mm.
So very tough, and I think that helped me be determined in starting out in this field when I had so many no's. I think that toughness is what helped me not like say, oh man, I give up. Let me go find a regular job or something like that. But what I would tell my younger self is it's going to be okay. It's going to be okay. You don't have to be so tough. Not everyone has an agenda. Not everyone is going to disappoint you. Some people are even going to help you along the way. It's okay to let someone in. It's okay to trust people. It's going to be okay. That's what I would really tell that younger version of myself.
I love it. And you know what? I've met so many people from New York, and I can always tell that they're like from New York, New Jersey, Boston, just
Mhm.
from the demeanor.
Mhm.
So I'm definitely gonna have to find out, not right now, but later,
Mhm.
like what is so tough about New York that makes you guys like this. I'm like, is it gangs? Like I know 50 Cents, I think is from New York. I love me some
Mhm.
50 Cents.
Yeah.
Um,
It's you know, I'll tell you now that I live outside of the city, I had to get used to my neighbors saying good morning to me. Like I'm telling you, like it's just New York City people, we mind our business. You know, we do what we have to do. We keep our head down, we mind our business, and we don't get in your way as long as you don't get in our way. You know, we're not city people are not super neighborly, you know? And when we came up here and the neighbors would say hello, like it took a while for me to be like, girl, say hello. It's okay. It is okay to be neighborly.
wow. You know what? That's interesting. And because I travel a lot, I feel like if I'm in a hallway and you're coming this way and I'm like, we're going to pass each other, you have to say hello.
No, that's not how we do in New York City, unless we know each other.
No. Listen, I was at a conference recently in Vegas and I kind of like opened my door to see where the housekeeper was. And
Mhm.
so this lady walked past me. We had on the same badge for the conference. I said hello. She said hello. And the
Mhm.
hello turned into a 10-minute conversation.
We don't do that in New York City. Let me tell you, but now it has the opposite effect because I'll be in New York City and I'll try to say hello to everybody and they'll look at me like I'm an idiot. So, you know, it is what it is.
Oh my goodness. And I got some places that I want to go to in New York. And I honestly have been trying to figure out, this is another confession, to how to just do a day trip there. Like take a flight where it gets me in at like 7 in the morning and then I leave at 9 or 10 o'clock at
I
night.
love that. Well, if you make that day trip, let me know and we will get together and do some activities.
Yes, there's a Broadway play that I want to see. And I'm like, but I don't want to spend the night. I just want to go and come back home.
Well, you know
So
what? Let me know. Let me know and we can make that happen.
absolutely. So
Yes.
thank you for telling the younger version of yourself some words of wisdom. I think it's important to go back to the younger version of yourself. I
Yeah.
have a picture of myself as a 5-year old
Oh,
that's sitting
wow.
adjacent to my desk. And she reminds me of how strong I am.
I love that. I love
And
that.
she reminds me that I am a leader, right? And so I constantly look at her smile, same smile that I have today. And she even got on lipstick. I'm about to ask my mother about this lipstick that she has. But and the funny thing is, the lipstick color that she has on, I thought that color was like new when I purchased it recently. And then
Uh-huh.
I looked at that picture. I'm like, that's not a new color. It's like a chocolate.
Wow, but isn't it amazing that you were drawn to it
Yes.
so many years later? That is cool.
Yes. That's why I want everyone to get a copy of this
Yeah.
journal because you see how we are both self-reflecting. The more, and I hate to say this because it really it makes me emotional
Mhm.
when I think about the number of people that don't truly know themselves
Oh.
and they're hurting inside and they hurt others.
Oh, yes. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. That I mean, that so for me, I had to spend a considerable amount of time in therapy in my adult life. Therapy has been a big part of my journey, and although I am big on my spirituality because there's a saying that God protects babies and fools, and he protected me through some real foolish decisions. So I'm very big on my spiritual relationship, but a lot of things I had to work out in therapy. You know, I had to just spend that time to really unpack certain traumas, certain things that led me to be the type of person that I was as an adult that held on to some toxic patterns that weren't necessarily helpful, and it really helped me to understand myself. And then I believe as I'm getting older, I mean, you know, I'm 43 now, But I believe life also, if you live life long enough, you just come to and you're doing the work, right? It's important to do the work because I know people that are double my age and they still act like they got no sense. Okay. So
Hmm.
we're gonna park that right there.
Listen,
But
listen.
you gotta do the work.
You
But
have
and when
to do the
yeah,
work.
you have to do the work. And once you commit to doing the work, you get a better understanding of yourself. Like I understand myself. I know what I don't have the patience for. And I'm not going to apologize for it. Okay. Because as a Christian, they'll make you feel like you got to put up with everything. And if I know me, and I know me is not going to do well with that, I'm not going to put myself in that environment. So it makes you really own who you are unapologetically. And that's a combination of my spirituality. That's a combination of just knowing who I am and what my limitations are and what I'm good at and what I'm not good at. And so I think it's important to get to know yourself. The greatest tragedy is to go through this life not truly knowing who you are and being your authentic self.
Oh
I do
my.
not want to leave this earth not being my authentic self. I am going to live each day. You're going to see Tiffany. You're not going to see Tiffany's representative. You're going to see Tiffany every day. Like her, not like her. You're going to see Tiffany every day.
I love all these confessions. And one of the reasons I love this book is when you write down your confessions, it really starts you on this journey of healing so that you
Mhm.
can forgive yourself and move past it. I think a lot of us and grandmama and them buried some things with them. And I
Yes,
think had they confessed them, um, we as the younger generation would have been more interested in having conversations with them, but it was
absolutely.
like they didn't talk about nothing.
They did not.
Nothing.
Yeah, they kept
Like
everything. Yeah.
mammogram hurt. That's all I got.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
There's more that they experienced, and one of the things that I've been really intentional about, especially with my mom, is about just asking questions,
Yeah.
and telling her that I don't want this knowledge to die with you.
Absolutely. 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 I remember when we were doing family history with our family and I started asking my grandmother different questions about her parents, and she lost her parents when she was young and she was raised by her grandparents, which is ironic because she ended up raising me and my siblings for, a number of years. But her mother, she believes, died of tuberculosis, but she's not 100% sure because the family kept it like secret. Like they didn't want to talk about it. So she believes that by overhearing certain conversations, it was tuberculosis, but she's not 100% sure. So even things like that, like, not even fully knowing how your mother passed away and it being secretive around that, I find that to be wild.
I listen. I'm determined to reverse that curse
Mhm.
because I don't want my kids to get older and not know their history. Like
Yeah.
we have a family history of XYZ. Like
Mhm.
you're like living your life. I'm never gonna have high cholesterol. You
Mhm.
have a family history of it on both sides, so you probably are gonna have it. But guess what? You can control it.
Yeah.
Those are the conversations that we need to be having over, I'm going to say holiday time, because people, families don't always get together to like just
Mhm.
have dinners outside of holidays. And honestly, I don't know about your family, but in my family everybody's getting older, so
Yeah.
those holiday gatherings are, maybe once a year.
Yeah, no, it's true. It's true. I knew, for example, for me, health wise, when I was around 39, I started having issues with my blood pressure. And it was a combination of me being overweight, it was a combination of stress. I was doing too much. And I knew my grandmother suffered from high blood pressure and she was on pressure pills. And I remember going to the doctor, and the doctor said, "Look, your blood pressure is not great, but if you make lifestyle changes, you can prevent having to go on blood pressure medication." She said, "I don't want to put you on blood pressure medication because if I put you on it, You're going to be on it for the rest of your life, because every patient that I put on it, they stay on it. Why? Because you just eat, you continue to eat what you eat, and you let the pills regulate your pressure. And I said to my, I had a decision to make. I said, you know what? I don't want to be on blood pressure medication. I saw what that did to my grandmother. I saw that it ended up leading to congestive heart failure and these different things. And I had the choice. I could have chose to go on the medication and continue to have the lifestyle I was having, or I could choose to make lifestyle changes. And by the grace of God, I made lifestyle changes. And almost 4 years later, I have not had to go on blood pressure medication. But again, it was because I understood my family history. I saw my grandmother struggle with this. And I said, I'm going to choose to do something differently so that I don't have this outcome, or I put it off as long as possible, you know?
Thinking, oh, I'm young, I can bounce back from it. Not, not. Well, listen, um, I want to thank you so much for coming on and just having a honest and open conversation. I tell people all the time, I am not a scripted person.
I
Someone
love
tried to
it.
get me to do something and they wanted me to read the script. And I was like, yeah, I mean, we can try it. You can put the stuff up on the teleprompter, but I'm going to stumble because I just believe in being able to speak.
Yes.
Like, I can have talking points, but I want to be able to speak from my heart because
Yeah.
we got enough reality TV show out there. I want people to walk away seeing that, yeah, there are people just like me. I got some things that I need to confess.
Yes.
There's a resource that can help guide me with prompts and places to write. Um, and the prompts are like legit life be lifing, like life
Yes.
knocks you
Yes.
down. Not if life
Mhm.
knocks you down,
It
it's
will.
when, because
It will.
it
It will.
continues
So
to
get
knock.
ready. Be prepared. It's coming.
Yes. So before we leave, do you have any final parting words that you want to share with our audience? Please tell them where they can find you, because some people are on Facebook, some are on LinkedIn.
Yes, absolutely. So, I'm going to start off with where you can find me. I'm on LinkedIn, Tiffany Robinson, or you can just look up Coach Tiff. I am on YouTube. I have a YouTube channel, which is at Beyond RCM. And Beyond RCM is a YouTube channel that talks about, evolving topics in healthcare. We talk about helping individuals break into the healthcare space. And most importantly, we talk about balanced lives, having balanced lives outside of work, because although our work is important, what's most important is our families and what we're doing outside of work. So that's what we do on the channel. Uh, and if I could leave any thoughts with the listeners, I would say, and it's a little bit about what we touched on, the most important relationship that you're ever going to have as you journey throughout life is the relationship you have with yourself. The relationship with that you have with yourself is going to affect your relationship with others, your husband, your partners, your kids, your parents, your in-laws. And when you don't know yourself, when you don't understand, when you're just allowing the ebbs and flows of life to pull you in different directions, and you're not fully understanding who you are, what you stand for, what makes you tick, it makes the journey a very erratic journey. I know this because I was on that erratic journey for many years. So if I could leave any message to the listeners, is get to know yourself. I was very successful. I was in my 20s. I was making good money, doing good for myself, because I'm a hustler. I learned how to hustle from an early age. I broke into this industry at 16, but I didn't fully know myself. So I was going with the whims of life for a very long time. So I encourage you, take the time to get to know, love, understand, accept, because sometimes there's certain things that it's a part of who you are. And you might want to be like somebody else, but you're you. So get to know the you and embrace the you that you are. And I believe that this passion project, which by the way, I make no money off of this project. This goes to charity. We take the money from this project and we invest it into initiatives that teach our younger people, our little people, financial literacy. Because I work in health, I work in revenue, so gotta keep it going. But this is a great place to start. You won't regret it. It's an investment that you're gonna make in yourself.
I love it. I love the fact that you are giving back because there are so many people who need you. There's this saying, once you get to the top, send the elevator back down and bring others up. And that's exactly what you're doing
Yeah.
with helping others with financial literacy. And we out of time because I want to talk about prior authorizations. Um,
I'll come back and hang out, you know?
well, listen, I actually said that I'm going to go live probably at some point on my Facebook page to just talk to my Facebook friends and families about fighting when the insurance company tells you no, because I
Mhm.
really think more now than ever, it's intentional no. And
Oh,
the hope
absolutely.
is you won't fight. You just don't.
And we not gonna pay.
Yeah.
And we not gonna pay. We don't play that over here.
Yes. 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 All
You gonna
right.
pay us our money.
Yes, run me my money. Hey, wait a minute. Was that Nino Brown movie from New York too? It's
New
all
Jack
starring them.
City?
It's
It
all
might
starring
have
them
been.
accent.
It might have been.
Yes, it all makes sense now about
She
getting my
said,
New York education. I got to get myself mentally prepared for when I
"You're
go to
gonna
New
do
York.
great. You're gonna do great. You're gonna
Yes.
do fine. You have an authentic New Yorker with you. I'll push everyone out of your
Oof,
way.
we
I
cannot
still
be
know how
pushing.
to channel my inner New York City energy when necessary."
That is not very demure. Pushing people out the way. Well, listen, thank you so much for stopping by 52 Authors, 52 Weeks.
Yes.
And to our listening, viewing audience, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share with your friends and family. You never know what you walk away from each and every authentic episode. And I will see you next week.
Bye.